going on, everybody? Welcome to the greatest show in the land. Welcome. It's Monday for most of you, and maybe it's another time in this great thing called life that you're finally listening to this really wonderful show called the Viall Files, Ask Nick Edition. Welcome. Maybe it's your first time listening, and are you in for a treat if you are. Chrissy, is this your last Ask Nick episode with us?
Yes, it is. Do you want to ask me anything, Nick?
Moment of silence. Did you get your starter kit for the woods? Like, are you ready to go? Are you ready to get?
Yeah, I got my rifle and my bear spray and my fishing net and my uniform. It's gonna be.
I think our audience is really looking forward to your POV.
Bear Grylls.
And it's like, hey guys, it's day 27, 44 miles in.
The elk have migrated into the park. The bison are tame.
I haven't pooped in 5 days and I'm looking for water.
The antelope are drinking water from the river.
Well, we are sad to see you go.
Wait, I have a question for Chrissy.
Yeah.
What piece of advice do you think you're going to think about the most that you've heard on an Ask Nick episode?
If they're not interested, they're just not interested. And it's okay to say what I want. And if they don't want that, that's okay.
Also, if they don't want that, you should leave.
Yes, that is also
I say this with
part of that
I say this with love. You might be the poster child of stop accepting less than what you want.
I would accept that as pretty much true. But yes.
And deserve. But
I'm working on it. I'm getting better.
Listen, we love you. Truly. I love you.
I'm getting better, but that's the most important thing.
Allie is out on assignment.
Yeah. We got some international travel coming up.
And not with us today. I've sent her on a safari of investigative journalism. But Amanda's with us and apparently has an update about her lube friend.
God.
Remind us what, he gave you lube as a gift.
No, that was, I think you're thinking of the man who gave me a vibrator as a birthday gift. This is a man who we were hooking up for a while and then sort of out of the blue was like, I'm falling in love. I think I'm going to fall in love with this other girl. And I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
Probably
still want to be your friend.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, so it sounds like that's the end of us hooking up. And he was like, not necessarily. And I was like, yeah, necessarily.
But you also were like, I can be friends with this person.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
but you also aren't sure if he's narcissistic or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe selfish.
Not that we're self-diagnosing.
Not that we're.
I would say maybe selfish and.
Well, that just to make a good point. Yeah, we don't side as non-doctors. We ourselves, nor do we recommend our audience to be diagnosing people
with
say narcissism
personality disorder.
However, if you're wondering if they are, that might be just a signal that regardless if they are or aren't, that maybe shouldn't have them in your life. That's fair. You can diagnose them as not worthy of your effort and energy and friendship and time. That we advocate for.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Continue.
No. I just and this is there's been a lot of growth that has been indicative in the way that I've handled this situation. Just because, we were like, okay, we'll be friends. And then he reached out after a while saying that him and the girl are like, she's moving here and that things are going really well with them.
Why is he updating you on his
I think because I was probably too much of a cool chick and I was like, hey, I do just really want you to be happy. And with this girl, I was like, I think this is a really good thing for him, honestly. He was talking about her and with a tenderness I've never heard. I was like, maybe he's going to become a much nicer guy and find the love he deserves. Anyway. But then he sent a message saying she's moving here. What's the fancy brand of lube you use? Which is so inappropriate in my opinion to reach out to a friend, and also regular lube.
Yeah.
CBS. So then I didn't respond to that. And
Wait,
then
hold on. I'm going to backtrack. That actually, no, is an appropriate question for an actual friend, to which you are not, but continue.
Well, I don't think...
You're absolutely right about just get lube, bro. Like, it's a dumb question, but friends often ask friends. That's why we have friends. Be like, hey man, like, I don't know if I should, like, I wouldn't put this out on Twitter because it's probably a dumb question, but like, what kind of lube? And then your friend's like, dude, that's stupid. Just get any lube. That's literally why we have friends. Which
I hear that, but I'm also like, there are certain things that you don't talk about with your friends.
No.
Yes,
that's
there are.
literally.
So just go into West Hollywood, walk into a store, and ask.
I mean, I guess that's how I define friends, but my
Get some
friend.
boy butter.
No, friends. Like, some friends you just have. It's why you have friends, so you can like. There's like things I don't even want my family to know.
I have friends who wouldn't want to talk about lube with me. And
Yeah.
it's like, and I get what you're saying. That's like in general, yeah, okay, for most people, I wouldn't mind. It was more just like the principle of like the first reach out. We haven't talked at all in a few months. And like you're saying, like, one, I'm moving in with this girl. Two, like referencing lube. It's like, what's your game plan here?
What's the update?
Update is just that I had been sort of not watching his Instagram stories because I was like,
Bravo.
You know, why would I?
Yeah.
And then I did watch one and he responded to me viewing his story. I did not know you could do that on Instagram. He replied to my view of his story. I was like, yo, what's up? And this is on Sunday. There's a Patriots game on, a few IPAs deep. And so I just...
No, I Instagram is getting way too... Like, I just found out last week that when someone comments on like a post, that there's an option to reply to the comment or send them a direct message.
Oh.
And someone like commented like, you're stupid, or I don't know, and like I should never reply, but sometimes I'm just like having fun with like the trolls of the world, and I'm like, yeah, like it was like, you suck, and I was like, I know, you know. But instead of you just
DM'd someone I
went
know
to their message, and this person had like, and then it goes in the inbox, and this person like apparently sent me like a DM like a year ago saying like, let's date or something. Hey, no, it was
go figure.
And I was just like, fuck Instagram. Like, why? Like, I don't. They're just. It's.
But in a way, how beautiful that you had access to your whole history.
No, I don't want access. That's a problem with Instagram. Stop making it. Like,
just let us search story views. That is the one thing we need on Instagram, in my opinion.
Yeah. Why does everything have to be so transparent? Like on it. Like that's why another reason why TikTok is just it's
better.
Other than that, well, we have a great show for you, Chrissy. We love you. Stay in touch.
Thank you.
Stop accepting less than what you want.
We got one more show.
Well, this is our last Ask Nick. And while I expect our entire audience to listen to every single episode, I don't know if that's always the case. Make sure to send in your questions at asknick@castme.com, cast with a K. We need your questions. We need your stories. Can't thank you enough. Always just call to action for our Ask Nick listeners. We'd love some 5-star reviews in our podcast and some comments to offset, pissing off Bachelor fans for giving them hot takes they don't agree with. Whatever. It's a total vanity thing on my part. I acknowledge that. I'll move on. Yet I would appreciate it.
Let it be vain, guys.
Yeah, as always, we have a great week lined up for you. Breaking down Bachelor in Paradise, we have the absolute wonderful Elizabeth Wagmeister. She is a writer for Variety magazine, also Bachelor fan. She does fantastic investigative journalism. She did a lot of stories on the Me Too movement. Also, she does, she covers obviously Hollywood. An excellent writer, front and center on a lot of breaking stories, but also here to help us break down Bachelor in Paradise. And on Wednesday, we have the wonderful, very talented, and fascinating Amelie Zilber with us. You will not want to miss that. So check out all the episodes this week. And let's get to our callers.
Question time with Nick. Let's ask Nick your sexy questions.
How's it going?
It's going okay. I've been better, Nick.
What's your name?
My name's Jessica. I'm 34 from Canada.
How can I help, Jessica?
A little background on me, like I am definitely a anxiously attached person. I've learned that about myself and tend to have like dated avoidant guys and
Because like
you
you
know, how
talked to like a therapist or the internet?
therapist
Okay.
and the internet. I'm like textbook. When you do the quiz, it's like 10 out of 10.
Gotcha. All right.
Um, so definitely was like always kind of going after guys. Like when it wasn't working, would like hold on way too long, like blame myself for everything, overanalyze, all that good stuff. So I started seeing a therapist. I actually started anxiety medication. Like I've past 2 years, I've really like totally switched gears and like really changed kind of like my expectations and how I approach dating. So enter this fellow that I wrote in about today. So I met him December of last year. It was COVID, so we went on like, stupid COVID walk. And I didn't even really want to meet him. We were talking on Tinder. He was kind of boring on the app, but I was like, kept following up. So I was like, I'm just going to give this guy a chance. And we go on this date and it was so great. We go on this walk. It was lovely. I was like, okay, I actually kind of think I might like this guy. So we started seeing each other and it's just like kind of everything I ever felt that I wanted. Like we just had so much fun together. Like we basically like had our own language. Like we would just laugh all the time. We were super close. There was no games. Like I never wondered, when's he going to text me? Does he like me? Like it was just so easy. And like, but I was also still really liked him. It wasn't like it was easy because I didn't like him that much kind of thing. So it was just great. Like about a month in, he was like, I deleted my apps, then we became official. And it was just like, I had never experienced an ease like that. And we were just super happy, always like going on adventures and everything like that. There's really nothing to even say. Like it was just kind of perfect in a way. So, but here's the thing, here's the catch. So when we first started dating, he told me he wasn't drinking at the moment. And I just thought, okay, like that's just what people do sometimes, like they're a wellness moment. But I later found out that it really was not just a moment of wellness. Like he has pretty much been a addict his entire life. He is extremely high functioning, but definitely has struggled with addiction his entire life. So the first 4 months of our relationship was actually the longest he'd ever been sober. And he has taken, he's gone to therapy, he's tried AA, but he really doesn't have as much as he wants to like be sober and not let his demons take him down. He like doesn't really have the proper support in place. So about like 4.5 months into the relationship, he started being a little bit distant, kind of like cold is the only way to describe it. And so when I brought it up to him, he basically just said like, I'm struggling so hard with remaining sober. I'm like deeply unhappy. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, this is the first time I've ever been sober in my life. And like, I just don't even know who I am. And like, I feel like I need to kind of do this on my own. So I was like, okay, like I was obviously pretty heartbroken, but I was like, okay, I understand. But then a week later, he texted me, he was moving, changing apartments, and he texted me saying, can I bring your stuff? Which was like, okay, that's a little bit of a shot to the heart. So he came by, and then we ended up talking and sort of spending the night together. And I was like, why are we apart? Like, we obviously like each other. And he was like, it's never been about that. Like, I want to be with you, but like, I feel like I need to be on my own. So there was a couple weeks of that, and it was a little bit wishy-washy. And then one night he called me and he was like, I want to go out with you. And I was like, okay. I didn't really know what to do. Like, I felt like I couldn't say you're not allowed to go out. And sorry, what I mean by going out is like going out and drinking. Why not?
He wanted to go out and get drunk with you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So I just mean knowing like the position he's in, like I just was like kind of weary about it, but was like, whatever. So we ended up going out.
You did go. I
did go.
And you went, why? Because you didn't feel like you were like, why couldn't you have said, listen, I can't in good conscience support you in your drinking. And also you told me you didn't want to hang out with me or want anything romantic. So I don't want to be like let on and B, well, like no judgment. I'm not telling you what to do. I just know I don't want to be a part of this. It's still summer, and either way, fall's upon us. It really doesn't matter the time of year. Brooklinen has the best sheets in the world for every season. If it's hot, if it's cold, they have their all-season duvet covers, the most amazing, softest sheets in the world. I call it the eighth wonder of the world. Incredibly high-end fabrics for incredibly reasonable prices. They also have the most amazing loungewear, sweatshirts, pants, t-shirts. I mean, they have it all. Check it out. I love Brooklinen. All the beds in the house, all the hand towels, all the bath towels. Even Jeff's become a big fan of Brooklinen. If you're looking for amazing sheets, amazing, decorating your bathroom, whatever, look to Brooklinen. Just remember, you spend a third of your life sleeping, so you might as well be doing it in comfort without breaking the bank. You don't have to take my word for it. 75,000 5-star reviews and counting. Amazing customer service. Can't say enough about Brooklinen. I love them. And so give yourself the comfort refresh you deserve and get it for less with Brooklinen. Go to brooklinen.com and use promo code VIALL to get $20 off with a minimum purchase of $100. That is BROOKLINEN.com and enter promo code VIALL for $20 off with a minimum purchase of $100. That's brooklinen.com, promo code VIALL. We're always trying to meet new health goals. Sometimes it's, losing weight for people. For example, if we're trying to lose weight, we'll think to things like, I can't eat pasta ever. Or we'll have to take these drastic steps in our diet. Not always the case. It doesn't matter whether you're trying to lose weight, gain weight, whatever your fitness and healthcare goals are. Noom is helping you get there with a cognitive behavioral approach focused on the why instead of the what to help you change your relationship with food. It's just making small changes on a daily basis to help get to the goals that you want to get to or make. I don't know. I think you know what I'm talking about. Everybody's journey looks different. Noom customizes a program for you based on your personal goals. Me, I'm just trying to maintain what I'm doing, and Noom is helping me do that every day by just investing 10 minutes a day. Noom fits into your life on your terms, no grueling early mornings or huge chunks out of your day. And they make it super easy with a very user-friendly app right on your phone. We all have our phones on us 24/7. Why not help yourself meet whatever your health and wellness goals are with Noom? That's right. Shavings make a pile. Small steps every day will help you get to where you want to be. And the best part is you don't have to cut anything out of your diet. You can still enjoy the foods that you love just by setting reasonable, obtainable goals. Start building better habits for healthier long-term results. Sign up for your trial at Noom.com/VIALL. That's NOOM.com/VIALL. 80% of Noom users finish the program and over 60% have stuck with their goals for at least a year. So it works, and it can work for you. Like, you could have said that.
I could have.
Okay.
I did not.
Okay, and that's fine. It's not fine, but I only point out because you're like, you kind of dismissed it by saying, well, what do I know about substance abuse kind of thing? And,
yeah,
and
exactly.
You don't have to be an expert in that or know about that to remove yourself from a situation that is probably not healthy.
Yeah, for sure. And that's, I think, looking back, probably what I should have done, but
okay,
I didn't.
Okay, that's fine. And then what's next?
So we went out and got kind of messed up together. It was really late. He just wouldn't go to bed. I was like, let's just go to bed. And he just had to stay up all night it was a really bad situation. The next day, he was just crying all day. He really just opened up to me. And basically that's when we officially got back together. And then he was sober from then until literally 2 weeks ago. And he again started to be distant for a week. It was literally, we were so happy. And then 1 week he was just I'm struggling again. I need to use, I feel I love you, but I can't be in a relationship. I need to be able to kind of be terrible and not feel responsible. So I mean, I'm just it's your face right now. So I just.
So where are we now? That's where.
So
we're
where
at.
are we now? It's like been a week and a half. Basically, I know this is kind of fast, but I immediately started listening to your show, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna write in. And we haven't spoken since the breakup, and I'm just kind of like, I just want to know what your viewpoint is, because for me, it's so hard to understand how someone struggling with their own life has to mean like the end of a relationship that was otherwise like extremely strong. And like, I don't have the mind of an addict, so I can't wrap my mind around that, and I'm having trouble with that.
You don't have to understand what it's like to be an addict to understand the situation that you're in as it relates to you. You know, what you're finding yourself in a situation, like I've always said, like, it's not how great it is when it's good, it's how bad it is when it's bad that really determines how successful a relationship can be. And when it's bad, it sounds pretty bad.
Yeah.
You know, and you literally got back together by getting drunk with an addict. You know, like, he couldn't be himself around you, and I'm guessing here because I don't understand addiction and I'm not an expert, but like I'm guessing like you met when he was sober. That must have felt, I'm assuming, very foreign to him. It would make sense when he says I don't feel like myself. Again, you know, it would make sense why an addict doesn't feel like himself. He's sober for the first time.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a good support system around him. Right. And no offense to you, because you and I, not experts in this. I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Right. You didn't know what to do. And I don't know why he removed himself. I don't know. And then he had a moment of weakness, and then combine that with your moment of weakness of just missing someone you cared about. You opted for, well, fuck it. I guess if my only option is to, you know, support him in this drinking, then I'll do that. And then you end up getting what you want out of that kind of toxic night. And then, yeah, sure. Then he got sober again. Like the bad news for you is he will be back. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a good chance he'll be back. This relapse, whatever he's going through, will probably be simply like this pattern is, you know, you're probably not even the first person. I'd be willing to bet if you got to talk to other women in his life, they would be like, yeah, I know this story.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my guess. And I think you just have to understand that this is someone who does need help. He needs to figure out his life. And as much as he might have so many great qualities and you have fun, that you aren't in a position to fix him. And at the most you could do is try to be supportive of him getting help. But he's not even on his journey. He's like, he's such in the early stages. You would have to be deciding to want to invest in someone that you might have a great time with, and it's pretty fun when it's great. But there's a long journey ahead for this person.
Yeah.
And you would have to invest so much of yourself, and maybe you don't have the strength and willpower to be that person for him. And that's okay. No judgment. Again, I'm not trying to be hard on you, but like, you didn't have the willpower to say, I can't be a part of this because you wanted to be with him. And so your vulnerability and your desire to want this person in your life is compromising your ability to be the type of support system this person's going to need to be the person he wants to be.
Yeah, that is true. However, I will say in my defense that while that night was a bad decision, otherwise, like, I feel like I have been a positive influence, because drinking is not, like, me not drinking with him has never felt like a sacrifice on my end. So I feel like
I have no doubt that you haven't been a great influence on some aspects.
Yeah.
But the point is, you weren't also like, then you got back together, and then you were in somewhat of a control. You had what you wanted, right? You had him. It's when you don't have the power and you don't have the control and you feel helpless and you're not getting what you want him, that you become compromised. So when he's at his worst, you unfortunately simultaneously are at your worst, because when he's at his worst, he detaches himself from you. And then you become vulnerable and you compromise your values and your ability and strength, and you lose your power and you start making bad decisions. And now you have two good people making bad decisions.
I've never thought about it in that way. So that's very eye-opening. And to your point earlier, like the long journey, like I don't, like, I'm 34, like, unfortunately, like there is a biological clock and things like that. So like, I don't feel like I have the luxury to, like, you know, just feel this out for 5 years kind of thing. Like, I know what I,
even if you were 21, why would you?
Yeah.
And that's not, I'm sure he's a great guy and you can have love for him and you can appreciate the time you had together. But yeah, you're right. Like, maybe this isn't your guy. Maybe this isn't your one. And then maybe you should just accept for what it is, still have love for him, still care about him, wish him the best, but know that the best thing for everyone, and especially for you, is to remove yourself from the situation that you're not fully removed from. You haven't removed yourself. No. He's removed you, and you're just right now on standby, deep down hoping he comes back.
Yeah, I mean, I am, like, but I've also, first of all, I've tried to support him in the sense of, like, I found him a therapist, but, like, he's not really doing anything.
Yeah,
like,
but you got to stop. You got to stop doing that. You're not, especially now. You're not his girlfriend. You, like, especially now that you've realized that, like, I don't know.
No, this was before. Before.
Yeah, but even now, that none of that even matters anymore. Again, you're a good person. I'm not doubting that you've tried. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure you've done all those things, but all that's in the past now. Especially if you're prepared to just move on.
It's true. And I do think I am only, like, obviously deep down, you're right. Like, I do want him to come back, but part of me is like, how will I ever be able to trust that the next time it gets hard that he's not going to, because all he's shown me is that every time he's struggling, he's going to walk away. And that's, like, such a shitty place to be in.
Yeah. You have to be willing to walk away even though you still care. You know, that's the hard, you know, making these hard choices for yourself, knowing what's best for you is saying no to something even though you want it. It's still caring and saying, ugh, you know, it's, I don't like, I love sugar, but I got to say no to it. You know, like, it's not because you didn't, you don't magically lose the craving, you know, so you have to find the willpower and the strength to say no and just realize, like, and not give in to your cravings. And you have a craving for him.
Yeah.
And that's not going to go away anytime soon. And you're going to have to say no to him before you get over the craving. And you got to prepare yourself for that. You know, it's like going to the grocery store really hungry. Bad time to grocery shop. And right now, you miss him, you long for him, you're reminiscing about the good times, and you're going to be very vulnerable for when he comes back. And you got to really get in that right mindset, because moving on isn't just saying, oh, I'm going to move on, especially now that he's gone. It's preparing yourself for the possibility that when he comes back, you will still say no, despite whatever he says. No matter how convincing he might sound, whatever he says, you know deep down, you're setting yourself up for potentially years of heartache and disappointment. And then we don't want you calling in when you're 39 and realize this is really over.
No, I'm not. Trust me, I've done the 5-year hold on in my 20s, and I don't want to do it again.
And okay, great. Well, it's going to require you to learn how to say no to a very intense craving when you're very hungry for it.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but it's funny, but it's very, very true.
In the meantime, you know, therapy are a great way, you know, to practice that and learn and get out there, start dating, start moving on, live your life, you know, get busy, stop sitting around and stop missing them, and stop, you know, don't, as much as you can, wishing you woulda, shoulda, coulda, there's nothing you could have done different. There's not, like, you know, ruminating about the past is not going to, you know, when you have those thoughts, try to stop, you know, actually say, stop it. You know,
Yeah.
you can control your thoughts.
No, for sure. The other night I was reading and I could feel one. I could like see it in the corner. I was like, I'm not letting you in. But yeah, it's hard work, but it's worth it.
All right. You can do it.
Okay. Well,
all right.
Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. How's it going?
Hi, I'm Julie. I'm 26 years old.
Hi, Julie. How can I help?
I'm just calling for your opinion. One of my best guy friends would definitely like to date me. I've always told him that I just want to be friends. We have a friend group that's mostly couples, and we're the two single people in the group. I've never kind of let any lines be crossed between us. He's tried to take me out, and we kind of hang out on our own. But the catch is that he is my toxic ex-boyfriend's ex-best friend.
A lot of X's. Okay.
A lot of exes.
That's the hang up. So what is it?
Yes.
So if between, you know, in just a little bit you said,
Mhm.
you have the friendship, quote unquote,
Yeah.
friends. You guys are pals, and that you don't want to ruin the friendship. You have the friend group, and you don't want to ruin
Yes.
the friend group by, you know, that's, you know, and then you have your toxic ex and him used to be friends. And
Yes.
those are it sounds like three reasons are off the bat that are stopping you from giving this a shot.
Yes.
Off the bat, it sounds like none of those are, like, if this is something that you think could be it, none of those are reasons to not go for it. But of those reasons, which one do you care most about?
Well, it's funny because the group of friends are actually really pushing for us to date. A few of them have said they wish that we would have dated when I was with the ex.
Uh-huh.
He was part of the friend group before, and I actually met most of these people through my ex-boyfriend. But they've since stopped seeing him. So I've kind of come into the group,
Gotcha.
and he was the other single guy.
I think the friend group is the absolute worst place to get advice from.
Yes.
The friend group is the same, you know, unit that tells you to buy a boat, you know, because
Right.
they all want to go boating, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And that might be fun, but like we all know, it's just not a great investment. Now, if you have the, you know, money to throw away and buy a boat, then great. But,
Right.
you know, the friend group is the type of people like, no, it's a good investment, you know, so the friend group as a collective can be a bit selfish, you know,
Mhm.
and the friend group, especially when the friend group is all coupled up, loves to keep that group. Then we like to, God, you guys God, just another team for game night, you know, and we want to know that you guys are in it. And honestly, I'd rather you guys just be a team, because we already have 6 teams, and 8 teams too many, because if you guys meet, it's just going to fuck up the group. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, so I don't really give a shit that the friend group thinks you guys should be together. That being said, if he's your ex-boyfriend and they're ex-friends, who cares? Like, who are you afraid of upsetting? Why is that a concern for you?
I guess it's more so because there are other mutual friends between all of us. So even though he's my ex and his ex best friend, I worry about the drama that would come from it.
What could come from it?
He's a pretty toxic person. He definitely likes to run his mouth, and I just feel like it would kind of maybe look badly on the two of us to start dating, where there was connections to him when we were together. The reason actually that I found out about my ex's cheating was my guy friend. My ex started to message his current girlfriend at the time. So it's a pretty messy situation, and she had told me, so I ended up leaving him because he was messaging his then best friend's girlfriend.
So like, are you interested in this friend?
He is really, really good to me. He really treats me well.
That's nice. Do you like him?
I do like him. Yeah. He's not my physical type that I usually go for. but his personality and the way he treats me, I really appreciate.
Okay. And how far off from your physical type is he? Like, are you remotely turned on by him? Like, have you thought about kissing him? Like, could you?
Yes, I find I'm growing more attraction to him. I think because of the personality, that like the looks part is kind of coming,
Uh-huh.
but he wouldn't be my, if I saw him walking down the street, be like, whoa, who's that guy?
Okay. Well, that's not the end of the world.
No.
Like I've always, like I there's no friendship to protect as far as you and this guy goes. Like you're friends now, but like if you don't end up with him, this is not someone I'm comfortable saying that you're going to be friends with down the road. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's not going to be at the baptism of your child if he's not your husband.
Right.
I don't know if you're going to get your kid baptized, but you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So why couldn't you say yes to the consideration of like going on a date?
Yeah.
Keep it between the two of you, because I don't think you should waste any or much energy worrying about the drama that your ex might create. It sucks. It's inconvenient, but whatever. Fuck them. Like it's like if you don't feed into the drama will just go away. And just because someone may be talking shit about you about rumors that aren't true, like whatever. Like how much power does this guy have? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he, in the reality, he really has the only power he really has is the power you give him. And making choices based off what he might do is giving him power.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you like this guy, he shouldn't be stopping you from exploring it. Now, if you don't like him, like whatever, fuck it. Like, but he definitely should not be stopping you from living your life.
Right.
So but at the same time, I understand not wanting to create drama that you don't want to deal with. So why can't you just like say yes to like a date, keep it between the two of you. Don't even fucking tell the group. Don't get them all excited. It's between you two. And there would be a time and a place to tell the group. And if your toxic ex finds out, then fuck it. It's not your problem then.
Right.
But if you are interested, give it a shot. But I think what you do need to be clear with this guy is like, if we do this, we're saying no to whatever this friendship is. And I make no promises, and and as far as the group goes, let's just be it real. It's going to get messy. You just if you're going to say yes to considering it, you should just really be honest with this guy about why you do like him and why you have reservations.
Yeah, because I think that was my worry as well, is if it doesn't work out, it will kind of affect the group dynamic.
Whatever. The group will be fine. If just you have to decide whether you're like saying yes to it out of convenience. Like don't say yes to it because you think it will be a fun game night. Don't say yes to it because like that's what the group wants, Right.
No, and we do all those game nights and everything as a group anyways, with us not being together. So that's not I know that could still go on without the relationship there.
Don't say yes because you're bored or you're in a dry, like say yes only because you're like, nah, he's kind of great. I like him. He makes me happy. I like spending time with him.
Yeah.
Friendship or not, I like when he calls, I smile. When I want and I have something in my life, I like telling him what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's trying to figure out how to kind of cross over from the friendship to potential relationship.
You just make out and have some sex. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like you take the friendship that you have and you build on that because you do want to be friends with your relationship. But like any other relationship that starts, there's a better chance it's going to end than end in a marriage.
Right. Yeah.
You guys just have to be realistic about that.
Okay. So tell him that if we go down that road that, if it doesn't work out, the friendship will be gone as well.
Yeah, realistically, there's no going back. I mean, if you guys are two incredibly mature adults, then you can make it work and be the bigger person, but you won't go back to like still having lunch and talking about like who you're dating.
Right.
Right. Like, depending how mature you guys are.
Yeah.
You could potentially have it not work out, spend some time apart and be cool, but who knows?
well, maybe I'll give it a shot then.
All right. Give it a shot. Sounds like
Okay.
you want to. It sounds like you do. So
Yeah, I mean, a few people have kind of said like, I know the way you talk about him. Like, do you ever think about it? And like they mention how I talk about him, and I think that's kind of what started me on the path of considering that idea.
all right. Well, just
I
make
mean-
sure it's your decision. You're not being led down a path, and it's you know,
Yeah.
just that.
Yeah.
That's really my big like. Just do it because you want to, and kind of fuck everyone else. Really.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's a good way to live by. Fuck everyone else.
All right. Yeah, they'll all be fine.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks,
take care.
Nick.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
How's it going?
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm 24.
Hi Anna. How can I help?
I kind of a long story, or maybe not. Maybe I just think too much into things, but have been seeing this guy for like maybe 5 months ish. And from the beginning, it was just like a friends with benefits thing. Like that's what he said he wanted.
What did you want?
And I was cool with it. I was totally good with that because I had just gotten out of a kind of toxic situationship thing, and I was like not able to handle much at the time.
But were you cool with it, or is that or you wanted it? Like, there's a difference between accepting something and wanting something.
I think that's what I wanted.
Okay.
Like,
so it's unclear.
I think I
but
was kind of just
it's what
like,
you
I was
accepted.
unclear,
We're
I
not
guess.
entirely sure if it's exactly what you wanted, but you went with it.
Yeah, I
Okay.
went with it.
All right.
Yeah, and first time I like met him, I was just like, no, I am not sleeping with this guy. However, that night we did end up hooking up because he's surprisingly charming, and it's just kind of gone on for the past 4 months, 5 months, whatever. And he's, I guess, just over the past like recent months, like maybe 2 months, I've just kind of discovered like we have a lot of fun together. Like I actually enjoy my time with him versus like with past hookups or whatever, friends with benefits. I'm just kind of like, okay, you can leave now, like afterwards. And he's kind of super transient. He like leaves a lot for work and stuff. He has kind of a weird job. So he's probably like leaving the state for good in like, God, I don't know, maybe 4 more months. So it's not gonna like turn into anything.
Where's he
but
going?
I guess I just like nowhere, I guess. It's just like for fun, I guess.
No. But where is he? Like
But-
he said, he's leaving the state. Like it's like across the country.
Oh,
or-
it's for work. Like it's like a training, and
Okay.
then yeah. So I have just been kind of like, I guess, wondering what to do in terms of boundaries because I don't really know him. Like this sounds weird, but like outside of his bedroom, like I really don't know him.
I
But
don't think it's that uncommon these days.
yeah, but I would like to do more things with him with the like, but I don't want him to think that I'm like too interested or like I don't want him to think that I'm more interested necessarily than I am, or that I'm like catching feelings. I don't know how to be like, hey, like I don't like you that much, but I do want to spend more time with you, but like
Why?
because he's fun. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird scenario.
I say this with love. You're not making a ton of sense.
Okay.
I mean, you're making sense, but you're, like there's no wrong answer here. Like whatever you want is totally fine, right? But, and I mean that like, if you do like him, and you're surprised that you like him, and you're like, fuck, I like this guy, and I'm interested, and I know he's moving, but like I like him, and fuck it, I haven't liked a lot of people, and so not ideal, but then great. Go for it. Shoot your shot, do that. There's no wrong answer. If it's just some good sex that you want to enjoy while you have it, do that. But this whole idea that you want to, learn more about him and invest more in him, essentially, because that's what you're saying. I want to invest more in him and I want him to invest more in me, but I don't want him to. And also, who gives a shit what he thinks about like, what does that mean? I don't want him to I'm worried that he's going to think that I like him. Why are you worried about that?
I mean, I guess just because I mean, that might be, I don't know, I hear you like talk a lot about like ego on the show. So
Yeah.
maybe that's just my ego. Like, I don't want to.
No, but why are you worried about it? Sure, ego about what though?
I feel like anytime you like somebody, like if in a real situation, like somebody confesses feelings for somebody, then it's kind of like you're kind of at their mercy.
Sure, but this is someone that you're telling me that you don't want to date, and either way is moving.
Yeah.
So like it has an expiration date. So what exactly, like, yeah, I mean, other than your ego being bruised, but I feel like there's something more. Like, why are you worried that he might think you like him? What are you afraid of losing?
Well, I guess the last 4 months I have left, I'm afraid of losing. Like, I don't want, like, for example, like I have a friend's wedding coming up, and like I think it'd be fun if he went. But like we haven't really done stuff like that.
Because you want to bring a date, or you want to spend more time with him?
I mean, I guess both. Like, I don't have to bring a date. It'd be fun to bring a date, and I think you would be fun to bring.
Okay. I just think you have to be very careful about being honest with yourself about your feelings towards this guy in this situation. Again, there's no wrong answer. It's totally fine, regardless. But you're contradicting yourself. And I only bring that up because that means you're not being, I don't know what the answer is, but it's clear you're not really being honest with yourself, right? It seems like maybe you are starting to like him more than you want to like him, because you know he's leaving. And you also are afraid that he might not feel the same because it's unclear. But either way, if he wasn't going to be moving and he was interested in dating you, you might want to date him, and therefore want to bring him to a wedding and spend time with him, right? Because again, do you want to date to a wedding because it's like a fun hang and he could be a good dancer? Great, right? Then I can ask him, hey, like, we're not dating, but like, I just want to date. You're a good time, and if he doesn't go, he is just your fuck buddy. But you clearly you're starting to catch some feelings. Otherwise, you wouldn't care what he thinks. If it was just a fuck buddy, it would just be, a fuck buddy situation. Unless the only alternative is that you're judging yourself for just having a fuck buddy. Like, and maybe that is, are you judging yourself for not knowing anything about a guy you're sleeping with on a regular basis outside the bedroom? Is that happening?
I don't know that I'm like judging myself. What did you say the first time? I feel like that's more accurate.
Yeah, I don't know, because if you were, then that might explain some of the contradiction, is that that you're judging yourself and therefore you're trying to validate your decisions by playing house and inviting him to a wedding. It's just, well, I should know more about a guy I'm having sex with, and I guess we should do more things. And I'm not saying you should.
Especially because he's like super like weirdly mysterious. Like, I just like everything. I don't know. Like, we'll like hook up, then I won't hear from him for like a week. Like, he'll just like fall off the radar. And then like I'll even like send him a text and be like, hey, like, how's it going? And you just like don't hear anything. And then he'll like text me something completely random that like, and I'm just like, that had nothing. Like, and it's like 2 days later.
If he is your fuck buddy and just that would be okay. Right? You haven't set any expectations. You haven't defined anything. You haven't set any boundaries. There's really no, upfront expectations other than we have sex, and we're cool enough to like occasionally text random ass shit because we're not boyfriend or girlfriend. We don't really know each other. There's a strict convenience thing. Right. And that sounds like you guys had, whether you've even defined it, that's the only really mutual expectation you guys have. But it sounds like you are struggling with wanting more from him, but you are saying, well, I don't really want more. Like, you do want more, and that is okay. But also, why do you want more? You have to ask yourself, is the why you want more?
Yeah, that's a good point. Because I guess regardless, because that's what I've kind of been describing it as. It's like, yeah, it's friends with benefits, but it's really just benefits. Like, I don't feel like we're friends.
Okay.
I mean, we'll like go over there and we'll like talk for hours, like we'll stay up super late, like we have a really good time together, but like we don't go like to dinner or anything like that.
Are you,
which,
is your relationship with him, because it's a type of relationship, stopping you from meeting other people?
I guess I go on like dates with other people.
You do?
Still.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess it's just like, I mean, but it is like, if I have the opportunity, like if I could go on a date, but then like he hits me up, I'm probably gonna go more hang out with him.
Okay,
so like
sure.
it kind of gets in the way.
Yeah, okay, it's getting in the way. So that's the thing. I think you have to set better boundaries with yourself, and you have to be honest with yourself about what you want out of this, and you also just have to be realistic with what the situation is, right?
Yeah.
If he is moving and you know that, like, listen, whether I like him or not, who knows, but like either way, this guy's just not going to be in my life a year from now, just because he's just not. He's moving, and I don't want to be in a long distance relationship. Then it would be, just from a pragmatic standpoint and a practical standpoint, silly for you to like worry to invest more in this guy. Like why all of a sudden are you trying to learn more about him and invest more in him and give more of your energy at the risk of saying no to more dates and meeting different people? Because that's ultimately what's going to happen, is that you're going to basically sideline yourself for the next 4 months. When's this wedding, for example?
Next month.
Next month. All right. Well, you could literally easily meet a guy this weekend on a dating app, have a great time, and be like, I know this is nuts and totally fine, like fast, but like, do you want to go to this wedding with me? You know what I'm saying? Like, you easily could. But now you're thinking about inviting this guy that you know is not going to be your boyfriend to a wedding. And again, if you want to bring him to your wedding and just have a date and have fun and like have someone to dance with because like everyone's coupled up, that's also okay too. You just gotta really be honest with yourself about what your expectations are of this relationship and how much you're really investing your emotional energy on. And you seem to be a bit conflicted with that. And I think you just need to get a clear understanding of your choices and why you're doing what you're doing.
Right. Yeah. Cause I thought that's crossed my mind too. Like, I'm like, I mean, I get that I'm still young, but like, I should be kind of, looking for maybe something more long-term, but I am like queen of wasting my time with other people.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. And again, there is nothing wrong if you want to just like fuck the brains out of this guy for the next 4 months because you're getting good sex, whatever, and then say goodbye and have him be a good memory. But just be careful how much you're emotionally investing for whatever reason, whether it's to justify your decision because you're judging yourself or because you're starting to catch feelings, and but you also know it's not going to go anywhere. So you want to pretend that you're not catching feelings and you don't want to feel rejected in the next 4 months. So you don't want him to even know you like him, but at the same time, you want to get to know more. Like, it doesn't make a ton of sense logically to worry about getting to know him that much more,
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably just totally overthinking it too. Like,
nah, I mean, don't just dismiss it by saying you're overthinking it. You might be overthinking, but why are you overthinking? It's good to, like, if nothing else, this relationship should help you kind of understand why you're making some of these choices. It's like, like understanding the why you are the queen of wasting your own time is something you should probably figure out, like, why are you doing these things? Why are you worrying about this? These are questions you should ask yourself and try to get answers and just be honest with yourself about why you're doing it. And again, there's no wrong answer. Like, you can do whatever you want. You could, have a fuck buddy for 4 more months. That's great. You can invite him to your wedding, but just don't lie to yourself. Why? Don't tell yourself you don't care and care. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Don't say you're not judging yourself, but deep down you are. I don't know what it is, but like, don't say one thing and do another. And for all the times we get frustrated at other people for leading us on and saying one thing and doing another, we're more often doing it to ourselves than having anyone else do it to us. Like I've always said, like, we'll never meet someone who lies to us more than ourselves. And you're just having a hard time, I think, really being honest with why you're making the choices that you're making. And I think just knowing, like, there's no wrong answer. You're just like, hey, there's no wrong answer. Who gives a shit what the answer is? But why am I doing this? You know the answer. You just have to be willing to just say it out loud to yourself.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, because we're like on totally different life paths. Like, we honestly have nothing in common except for apparently we can talk for a long time.
Okay.
And he has a lot of fun, but yeah.
And that's,
I mean,
if he ends up just being a fun memory in your life, fucking great. And
Yeah.
you can, but don't just be careful of your feelings and what you give him emotionally, and just be fully aware of what you're getting yourself into. Because you're running the risk of lying to yourself and not being aware, and then all of a sudden being like, and then moving and be like, fuck off. I don't know. I love a guy. You know what I'm saying? Just.
Yeah. I'm also just like not good at letting people, like, I've never had to stop having relationships with people, like even friendships, even past relationships. Like I always have them somehow in my life. Like I'm really bad at letting people go. So it's weird to think that like he was like literally like 8 months of my life, maybe in the end, like, and then you just never hear from them again. Like that's just so strange to me.
Yeah, you'll get over it. It's just life. It'll happen. That's just a control thing on your part. You like being in control, probably. And you lack a little bit of control in this situation. He's mysterious and he's like doing his own thing and he's moving and he's just kind of like whatever, and you're just like, well, fuck, I don't have any control in this situation. So make sure you're not like falling in love with the idea that you can't have what you want. Especially a guy that when you first met him, you're like, I'll never sleep with him, and you're like, fuck, now I'm sleeping with him, and now all of a sudden, like, he has like you feel the power dynamic in this relationship, and you don't have it, and that's intoxicating.
Oh my gosh, you're so insightful. That's so true. Yeah. Man, you're good at this.
Just doing my best.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it's just about the why for you.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to ask the why.
Is there like do I just accept that I don't have the power?
With this guy? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's leaving. It's going to end. Unless you want to do something drastic and shoot your shot with this guy. But it sounds like that he's not your guy. He's not the love of your life. So why? You're right. It would be your ego would be the reason why you start doing things that are only going to, again, waste more of your time. So enjoy what it is for the time that you have it. Yeah. And if you want to ask him to a wedding, ask him to a wedding. But this worrying, trying to find the right thing to say to him, to learn more about him, but not risk him thinking who gives a shit? Like what?
Yeah.
That's just like a lot of waste of energy. Do you want to go to this wedding with me or not? No? Okay, fine. I'll ask someone else. You do? Great. We'll have fun. Fine. And we'll have some good sex at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And when you leave, I'm going to be a little bummed because I'm going to miss the sex, and you seem like a good guy, and you know what? Maybe we'll face that, whatever. But I think you need to challenge yourself to, even when you like are on, if you do get asked on a date and he wants some sex, you should start saying, if you want some power in this relationship, say no. You have a date lined up with someone you don't know if you're interested. Remember, this was a guy you weren't interested in either. So the same guy you're saying no to, because you have this like sure thing. Maybe say yes to the unknown. Maybe say yes to the things that you don't know. Say no to the sure thing that you know is going to end anyways.
Yeah.
And expand your comfort zone. So try that.
Yeah. Way to simplify things.
I'll do my best.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's your answer.
Yeah, pretty much. Thanks.
You're doing great. It's all going to be fine. Just enjoy it while it's there.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for sorting out my overthinking.
It's okay. Yeah, but don't just dismiss your choices by chalking it up to overthinking.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. All right. Best of luck.
Thanks.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How's it going?
It's going good.
What's your name?
My name's Molly, and I'm 26 years old.
Hi, Molly. How can I help?
So a little background. I'm separated for about a year. I have 2 kids with this person.
Separated from?
It was kind of.
Is it a boyfriend, husband, fiance?
It was a boyfriend.
Okay.
It was the kids' dad.
Okay.
And we kind of got together pretty quickly. I got pregnant within like a month in. So we decided to stay together for the child. It was going really well at first, and then it went quickly downhill. He had like an alcohol problem, would always drink, pass out. And then he kept saying like, I'm going to change. So I decided to stay with him just because I wanted like that picture perfect family. I don't think I was ever, now that I'm going to therapy, I don't think I was ever in love with him.
Okay.
It was more like I had to do what I had to do. Just culture wise and stuff like that. It's very frowned upon in my family to, separate from your child's father. And then I got pregnant again about 2 years later, and we had another child. And after that, there was just so much like emotional and like mental abuse where it got close to physical. So I decided to leave. And I think now that I'm single with kids, it's so hard to navigate dating and things like that, just because I had such an awful experience with him. And I don't even know how to date because I was with this person for a very long time, about like 5-6 years. So I don't even know what to do, where to start. And I feel like so many people are interested because I get messages all the time like, oh my God, I didn't know you were single again and all this other stuff. But it's like, how do you navigate dating with kids? And not just that, like, what if you go on a dating profile? Do you tell them you have kids? Because you don't want to like open up immediately to a stranger. So I'm not really sure how that works.
Oh, what's your biggest fear when it comes to dating?
My kids, like, or that to find the right person that would fit in well with my kids.
Okay. Well, the good news is when it comes to that, like you're the gatekeeper, so to speak, when it, but that doesn't really answer my question. Like, what is your biggest, because like you're just like, how do I navigate dating? How do I get out there? You just kind of want to start, so to speak. Like, obviously you love your kids and you don't want to recreate that toxic environment you just left from, right?
Yeah.
So, and like I said, you're the gatekeeper there. But before, it's like, obviously that's priority number one, right? But when it comes to dating, there's, regardless of whether you have kids or not, you have to connect, whether it's through dating apps or whether it's at the grocery store, then you have to go on a date and you have to have conversations. And regardless if you have kids or not, you're not just looking for a caretaker for your kids. You're looking for a romantic partner so that you can feel love and have love in your life, all while wanting them to be either, good role models, just not toxic. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you got to separate those two, all while always maintaining the need for your kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's obvious. And maybe that's what a lot of people in your position think about, but I do think it's important to try to separate it and just, you're still just a 26-year-old looking for love, regardless if you have kids or not. Right. And there's plenty of people with kids who get back out in the dating world. So when you think about, minus your kids, and I'm not trying to say like the kids don't matter, just to be clear, but minus your kids, and when you're out there and you're like, oh, I want to start dating, and it sounds like you already have people interested. What is your
too many?
So that's like, supply is not a problem, right?
No.
So what is your fear when it comes to just dating?
I guess it's just getting heartbroken, maybe.
Okay.
I guess I've just never really like dated, if that makes any sense. Like, I hooked up with a couple people, hooked up with my kids' dad, and like we never had, I guess, that emotional connection. I guess it's needing an emotional connection. Okay,
there you go. So it sounds like step one is to take things slow, right?
Yeah.
You never really dated and yet you have 2 kids, right? No judgment whatsoever, but that would suggest that maybe you are rushing into things, right? At least in that one situation you did, right? You made a comment about like, your family culture frowned upon to not stay with the father of your child. I'm assuming that same culture would frown upon like not getting married to that person.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got in. They pressured us into getting married, and I honestly thought, it was like, okay, yeah, I'll marry this guy because I have a kid with him. But I'm so glad we didn't, and he didn't want to get married.
Yeah.
But now that I'm looking back, I think he was checked out the whole time, and he like admitted to me recently, like, I think we both stayed together just because like we had to. It was very convenient for us.
Yeah. I only bring that up because remember that feeling. And it's great that you love your family. It's great that you're close with your family. But regardless of all that, like, don't let those pressures ever influence your decisions again, especially now that you're out there dating again. Don't let the family pressures of judgment and potential shame and, because you're supposed to do it this way and we did it this way and this is how you do it. Thank God you didn't listen to them about the marriage aspect, right? Yeah. And so I only bring that up because now that you're back out there dating, I think it wouldn't be all that uncommon for, whoever you're getting this kind of feedback from the family to insert their opinion again and, yes. and, kind of judge you and shame you for almost like you should have done it this way. You should listen to me. And in fact, even though you definitely shouldn't have, and you're glad that you didn't. But for you, I think you just got to take it easy on yourself. Get back out there. Maybe say yes to a couple of these dates. And it's a date. It's one date, Don't feel the pressure to play house. Like you're a capable woman who is going to take care of her kids regardless if you have a man in your life. You know what I'm saying? You don't need a man in your life to be a great mother and a great caretaker to your kids. So right now, men in your life are all about you connecting romantically or not, right? It's not until you connect romantically that you have to then think about, okay, I like this person. Are they worthy of, my kids, or are they capable? Are they interested? But you have to get to the point where you decide for yourself whether you are even interested in considering liking them romantically. Right? So focus on that right now. Again, supply is not a problem. You're in demand. That's great. So now you can be ultra selective and patient and go on a date. And if you have a good date, again, it doesn't mean, I should, this feels like we know each other forever. It's, I had a really nice date. Would you like to go on a second date? I have more questions. I have more to learn, As far as when you bring things up, that's a totally balls in your court, we've said this in the past, you should be, again, if you're focused on whether you like them and whether you have chemistry with them, whether you are interested in the answers they give, whether you notice them asking questions about you and your life, and that's the thing, if you're on a date with someone, worthy of your time, they're going to be asking appropriate questions. And so they might ask questions about your day, and your life and what you do. And so don't lie. If it comes up, I have kids, Yeah. Sometimes we worry about, when do I bring up whatever it is we're worried about bringing it up? And if we're on a date with the right person worthy of our time, they'll be asking the type of questions that will make it easier for you to bring it up. If you're not so is there anything else other than your kids that you are worried about bringing up?
No, not really. I think it's just my kids and I guess the baggage of their dad that comes with it.
Is he still involved in the life?
Yes, he's still very involved. But he still wants to hook up and stuff. And I've told him many times, it's not going to happen, and I've been pretty clear with that. I think just because I've gone to therapy so much and I've learned we can't have any sort of, sexual relationship or anything. And he's a good dad. He's, all the other stuff is not the good stuff. And I have been talking to someone, but the thing is he asks me about the kids all the time, things like that. And he doesn't live in the same town. He has family that lives here. So he does come down every other week. And he comes down when I, have my kids most of the time. And he has asked me out, but I'm hey, I have my kids today or this weekend, whatever. I can't hang out, and I, give him my schedule, hey, their dad has them, whatever amount of time. And, when I do tell him hey, I'm free, he's yeah, but I'm not free this weekend. And I feel do I cut this person off just because it's been such a long time? We've been talking for 6-7 months and we do know each other just back in high school and stuff. So I feel do you cut, when do you, I guess, quit talking to someone? Do you?
Well, that's the thing. Well, this is someone you're not in a relationship with. You're talking, yes. You've known them since high school, so there's a comfort level. I think someone in your position needs to be careful not to resort to things that are the most comfortable, just because like dating is always awkward and challenging and uncomfortable. And it might be scary for someone in your position to like meet a total stranger and worry about whether they are interested in dating someone with kids and things like that. There's a lot of dating can bring out some of our great insecurities. It's just like, well, how is this stranger going to accept me? For anyone, it doesn't, regardless of the situation. So I'm not saying don't go on a date with anyone you've ever met or know. Like maybe there's a great person there, but be careful about why you're accepting these dates or having these conversations. Is it more based on the convenience and comfort that you know them as a familiarity? They like you, so like, you don't have to worry about whether they like you or not. This person, like maybe there's a nice guy, but like, distance, it's a long distance and it might not be convenient for you. I think you need to be very careful about playing house with anyone you go on a date with, because your life is not as selfless as like a single person without kids who can just kind of like do whatever. And, it's like, hey man, but you have other priorities like your kids. And so that comfort and the convenience of this, like having someone willing to kind of be around can be tempting. I would challenge you to like, try a dating app or I think you just need to try to date multiple people. Like don't get stuck in this, like I'm talking to this one guy and it's like, again, it's just someone to have around. If you want to keep talking to him, great. But like you're allowed to talk to multiple people at once. You're allowed to date and just, and again, take it slow. Don't be playing house conversations with a guy that you're not even dating, like a date shouldn't be like you and a guy you're dating taking the kids to the zoo, take your kids to the zoo and have a guy you want to go on a date with take you out to dinner and get a babysitter or whatever, if I understand there's financial implications and inconvenience, but I think it's really important for you to try to, as much as you can, based off your schedule and limitations, to separate your dating life with your kids and just take your time. You have a great family, you have your kids, and be okay with the possibility that your next great love might not happen for a year or 2 or 3, and that's okay. I think a lot of people in your position might feel that pressure to just want to find someone, want to get back to that unit or that like that comfort level. And so I think there's just a lot of potential hurdles of getting yourself in a situation that's not ultimately right for you in the long run because, of these self-limiting beliefs that you have. You know what I'm saying? And like, I would challenge you to potentially go on a date with someone you meet on a dating app or someone you just, someone from a friend that you have says, I know a great guy, but you don't know him. You know what I'm saying? Like expand your circle of potential suitors, so to speak. Don't just go back to the well of a bunch of guys that who like thought, like, oh, I wish he was single. Like if you want to date them, fine, but you're a free agent right now, and that's great. Shop around, see what else is out there. Get a variety. There might be a lot of different types of people that you could be interested in that you're not even aware of because, well, like you said, you've never really dated. So take advantage of this freedom that you have and be willing to take it slow. Be willing to go on 1 or 2 dates with someone. And I just can't emphasize enough how your biggest priority in your dating life should be, do I like them? Am I interested in them? Do I like their answers? Do I feel chemistry with them? And don't worry about whether they like you. And until you decide whether you like them, and then you can start qualifying that other stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure.
Yeah. So that's what I would do. Try not to succumb to any fears or insecurities that, everyone has relationship baggage. There's a lot of single mothers out there. You're an attractive person with a lot to offer, and just believe in that and be very selfish right now. Selfish with your kids, selfish with your time. Your time, obviously, as a single mother is going to be limited, right? So be very selfish. And, this particular situation, when you cut someone off, well, if you're being very selfish about your time, you don't have to cut them off, but like you could just don't wait around for them. Don't stop looking at other things. He's not your boyfriend. He's not your husband. You're not even in a defined relationship. So like, why are you even worrying about having to cut them off for you to keep shopping? You know, it's like you went to a store, you found a pair of shoes you like, you weren't sure about them, you put them on hold. Or you know, you can still go shop around. You can still look for another pair of shoes that you might like better, right?
Yeah, but I think that's the big thing is like,
or maybe they don't put them on hold. They're like, oh, we don't have them in. We'll get them on, you know, we can ship them to you, or, you know, like they'll be available on Friday. You're like, okay, well, until then, I'm going to go keep shopping.
Yeah, but I think the thing is like, he has friends that my friends know. And I guess some of my friends mentioned that like, there's a lot of people interested. And he did message me and he's like, oh, I didn't know you were talking to other people. And in my head, I'm like, okay, but we're not together. Like, so that's what I think.
Communicate that. Just be very direct and open and communicate. Just be like, hey, buddy, you know, like why people can't assume that you're in a committed relationship, or like people like to assume that they've had to define the relationship conversation just because what? Because we've been talking.
Yeah.
And again, like I don't know, you've just been talking to some guy. Why, you know, I would really, you need to see what else is out there. For someone who hasn't dated, the last thing, in my humble opinion, the last thing you should be doing is jumping into some other relationship just because you're familiar with a guy when you haven't really dated. You know, you're 26, like, see what else is out there. Take advantage of this. Like, you know?
Yeah, and my friends say, they're like, they're all married and they're like, you should be like sleeping around. Like, we want to live like vicariously through you.
I mean,
and I'm like,
if you want to have some sex, have some sex. But I am, take it slow. Just date, have conversations, meet people. Even if it's making friends. And, you know, if the sex, fine. But like, don't, just meet people, you know? Expand your circle.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I will definitely do that.
All right. Good luck. You're going to be great.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening, guys. Can't thank you enough for always tuning in. Tell your friends, subscribe, 5-star reviews, always appreciated. Sharing your socials, sending your questions at asknick@castme.com, cast with a K. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for our Bachelor in Paradise recap, and on Wednesday, a fantastic interview with the wonderful Amelie Zilber. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos like our Tuesday Bachelor recaps and Wednesday celebrity and expert interviews. See you next time.